Hello everyone, it's SpawnPoiint and today we are taking a look at the brand new A50 X, Astro's latest wireless gaming headset. Now these work on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S as well as PC. They also have Bluetooth support, graphene drivers and 24 hours of battery. So today we're going to get these unboxed and set them up, then talk about the design, features and how they work across all of your devices. But I'll also go over the sound quality, do a mic test and tell you why these are my new favourites and will be replacing my Nova Pros. So if you're looking for a headset that works on your PS5, Xbox, PC and mobile, hopefully today's video will help you out. But as always, any questions, just drop those below. Okay, so here's the box and straight away we've got this premium gaming vibe going on. There's the Astro and A50 X branding in orange and it looks clean. It also kind of tells us everything that we need to know. So it works on the Xbox, PS5, PC and mobile. It's got Bluetooth, HDMI and Lightspeed listed here as well. And we've got some details around the back about what it supports. But we'll go over all of this today anyway. Right, let's get this opened up and see what we get inside. So we have the A50 X headset and already this looks so nice. I've been waiting years for this to come out, so it's awesome to finally get one that works on the PS5. But we'll come back to this in a minute. So under the headset mold, we have this black box which contains the manuals to get set up. And I can tell you now, these are definitely worth reading just to make sure you get the most out of it. And here's the base station. So this is what we'll use to connect, control and charge the headset. Now we had one very similar on the previous A50s, which I really liked. But the biggest difference this time is we have HDMI and USB-C ports for connecting it to your PC and console. We also have a plug with a couple of adapters, and another box containing cables that we will need to connect it all up. So we have a USB-A to USB-C cable, as well as a USB-C-Y cable, and this is what you'll use to power it as well as connecting it to your PC if needed. But let's take a closer look at the A50Xs. And on first impressions, I think these look like a proper gaming headset. I'm liking the stealthy and all black colour theme with the pop of red throughout. There's also a nice mixture of matte black as well as glossy parts as we look around, although you could say these might attract fingerprints. Now I actually used to have the A50 Gen 4s back on the PS4 which were awesome, and I actually only moved away from Astro when they didn't work on the PS5, but holding these now it is good to be back. So we've got some pretty clean branding, including the G logo on the mic and the Astro A50 X logo behind that in red. And then we have two logos on the glossy headband on top. But all of these are really subtle, which is nice. In terms of the weight, they feel well balanced for a headset. Like they don't feel heavy that you'd be worried about wearing it, but not too light that they kind of feel cheap. They also feel premium for a gaming headset, with this nice rubbery coated plastic and the metal slider on the side for adjusting the height. There's also loads of flex here, so as I bend and twist, you can see just how much movement we've got, but they also don't feel like they're going to snap or break. Then we have the mic on the side, which you can flip down and move it into any position you'd like. But yeah, as far as looks and aesthetics go, I think these would look great on any setup, and they have that really nice premium gaming vibe. Now personally, I prefer the all black vibe, but if you didn't want a black headset, they do also do these in white as well. Now, as you might have noticed already, these are fabric ear cups instead of leather or pleather. Now, I personally prefer fabric for comfort, keeping them clean, and there's less chance of them wearing down over time. But of course, this does come down to personal preference. But what's great is, although they are super comfortable, they can be removed. So if you wanted to swap these out for a mod kit, well, you could. Simply pull the top piece here and the padding pops right off as they are magnetic, and then you can just snap them back into place. And as the ear cups rotate, it means if you wanted to lay these flat on your desk or on your table when you weren't using them, you can do it far more easily as the cups do rotate. As for the controls, they are all on the right side of the headset. So we have the power button at the top and you just flick this up and it will power it on. We also have a little LED which shows you when it's on or charging. And under that is the Play Sync button, and this is what allows us to swap between the different inputs on the base station. And then there's the Bluetooth button for when you need to connect it to a mobile or other device. And then near the bottom, there's the infinite volume scroll wheel. So this is what lets us adjust the headset's overall volume. And then on the right ear cup, this entire panel can be pressed either way. And this is what allows you to adjust the balance between your game and your party chat. So that's pretty cool. So here's my desk at the moment, and the plan is to have the headset over here on the left side near the Xbox. Now the base station is pretty small, but as it acts like a central hub for your consoles and PC, you want to make sure that it's close enough to all of your devices and that the cables reach. So on the back we have the ports for the Xbox and PlayStation, both HDMI and USB-C ports, as well as a USB-C port for your PC and power. And then we've got the HDMI out to connect it to your monitor. Okay, so all you need to do is plug an HDMI cable and a USB-C cable to connect to each device, and then another HDMI cable to go to your TV or your monitor. Now the headset does come with these cables, but it doesn't come with any HDMI cables. But don't forget your PS5 and your Xbox will have one anyway, so you only need one spare cable to finish the connection, but just make sure that it is HDMI 2.1. Okay, then you'll need to use this red USB-C cable and plug it in to power it. And once it's all connected, it should look a little bit like this. Although if you're only using one console or just a PC, you won't have anywhere near as many plugged in. But what this now means is everything is plugged into the base station and it kind of acts like an HDMI switcher. So all of your cables go into the back and then you have one cable going to the monitor. And I actually think this is a really neat way of doing it, as instead of having 3 cables going up to the screen, I've only got one. So when it comes to using it with each device you have plugged in, all you need to do is power on the headset and tap this button on the side. This will then toggle between the 3 modes on the base station. So we have the Xbox, a PC and PS for PlayStation. Now each time you press the button, it does swap the input of the base station and changes the output to your monitor. So if I'm on my PS5, I can just tap the headset and it's working on here. But if I turn on my Xbox or plug in my laptop, I can tap the same button and be gaming and listening to that device in seconds. Now I think this is great, as I will be using this headset on my desk. But if you had multiple devices in different rooms or even in the same room but on a different desk, you would need to move the entire base station rather than just using a USB dongle. It's not an issue for me, but something worth mentioning if you do have multiple setups. And as this supports HDMI 2.1, we are still getting the full 4K and 120Hz pass-through, and that's at 40 gigabits per second, along with auto low latency mode and VRR, so it's a true pass-through with no limitations at all. And what's great is if you are using this on the PlayStation 5, the headset does show up under audio settings as the A50 X. Okay, then on the front of the base station we have the Logitech G logo, along with the current battery status. So there are a total of 4 dots which tells us either how much battery is left or if it's currently charging. Then next to that is the Bluetooth logo which lights up blue when it's in use. And something else worth mentioning is you can technically plug any HDMI device into the back of this. So for example, if you had a Nintendo Switch, you could plug this in as well. So back on the PlayStation 4, I used to have the A50 Gen 4s, and they were without doubt the best gaming headset that I'd ever used. And then the PS5 came out and unfortunately they were no longer compatible. Sure, there was that HDMI adapter that I could have used, but as it wasn't HDMI 2.1, I decided to move away from Astro and try other brands like SteelSeries. It has definitely been worth the wait, as the A50 X sound incredible. So they come with 40mm graphene drivers, which we've also seen in Logitech G's recent Pro X2 range, and it is amazing just how good they sound. When I put these on for the first time, I wasn't expecting to hear a noticeable difference over my existing headset. Maybe a slight step up in terms of clarity, but these really impressed me. They are full, clear, precise, and honestly made me question if there were sounds in these games that I'd never noticed before. I was playing some Modern Warfare 3 at the weekend and I was convinced there were ambient sounds that I'd never heard, and footsteps in games were 100% accurate too, like the separation between kill streaks coming in, gunfire, background noises, party chat and footsteps made it so much easier to work out exactly where everything was. But it's not just FPS games, pretty much every game that I've tested on here is like having a full Dolby Atmos surround sound kit on your head. But the sound isn't just loud and overwhelming, it's incredibly clear and feels well balanced. One thing to note though is out of the box the bass is a little too much for me, but even with that said it doesn't sound muddy or distorted at all. But of course that is just my personal experience, and dialing it back a little bit in the settings does sort this out. Now the A50 X do support Dolby Atmos, Windows Sonic spatial audio as well as the PS5's 3D audio, so if you do enable these in the settings you will naturally get an even better sound overall. And then through HDMI, we get up to 24-bit audio, and if you're on PC, you'll also get that through USB-C as well. So although they do support Bluetooth, they actually use Logitech G's pro-grade Lightspeed connectivity, and that's between the headset and the base station. And this is actually what they use in tournaments, so we're getting 24-bit audio with no lag at all. And on top of that, we get a 12-meter range, so plenty for walking away from your desk or your setup. So as mentioned, out of the box, I think the audio on these are very good. They are definitely a little too bassy for my personal liking, but the good news is you can fully customize the settings and the EQ in a couple of different ways. Firstly, if you're using these on your PC or your Mac, well, you can use the Logitech G software. This lets you rename the headset, keep it up to date, swap between profiles and make your own. I mean, looking through the settings here, you really do get full control over the headset. But not everybody has access to a PC or a Mac, or maybe you just want to make some small adjustments on the fly. Well, fortunately, there's also the Logitech G app, which is available on both Android and iOS. All you need to do is then connect your phone to the base station over Bluetooth and you have access to the headset controls. It is a little more limited than the full software, but honestly, for most of us, this is more than enough control. Again, you can see the headset details, swap between the different profiles, or create and save your own. All of this is then saved onto the base station and ready for when you're gaming. Okay, so we know these sound awesome, but what's the mic quality like? If you're chatting online with your mates or you stream, well, the mic quality could be something that's important. Well, firstly, it comes with this rubbery boom arm which is fully flexible, and it will let you position it pretty much however you'd like. And this is a 16-bit 48 kHz full bandwidth mic, again using that Logitech G Lightspeed connection. But as for the quality, I'm just going to let you listen to this first and see what you think. Okay, so this is a test on the Astro A50 X, just to give you an idea of what the microphone quality sounds like. Now, I've made no changes to this at all in post, so what you're hearing now is exactly what you would expect to hear straight out of the box with no settings changed. Now, that clip was recorded with no settings changed at all, so straight out of the box. And as you can hear, the mic sounds incredible. In fact, the first night that I used this headset and played online with my mates, all four of them commented on just how good it sounded. They seriously assumed that I was using an XLR mic as the quality was that good. But in the settings, you can actually change the mic with some EQ adjustments. So mine, I've just left it set to default, but there's competition and broadcast, as well as the option to fully customize it if you'd prefer. And this works on all devices as well. Then if you're using it on PC, you can even adjust the noise gate to reduce the background noise that the mic picks up in your room. Oh, and another really nice feature that I've always liked on the Astro headsets is the flip to mute feature. So when you're using your mic, you just pull it down and it switches itself on and you're ready to chat with your mates or your teammates. Then once you finish talking, if you flip it back up until you feel a click, it is now muted without needing to press any buttons. Oh, and if you are using this on the PS5, you'll be pleased to hear that the mute button on the controller does work, as not all headsets actually support this. So as mentioned, the A50 X does connect to the base station using Logitech G Lightspeed. But on top of that, they also have Bluetooth, and they support dual connection. This allows you to listen to your game at the same time as taking a phone call or listening to music on your phone. You can then use the chat game balance button on the side of the headset to adjust the balance and the volume between the two. To get that set up, all you need to do is press the Bluetooth button on the side of the headset, and it will now show up as a new device to pair to. Okay, let's talk about how these feel. So I've been using them over the last week, and the longest that I've used them in one session was for about 5 hours. And I can say they are incredibly comfortable. They don't feel heavy, and the fabric cushion on the top gives you some nice padding on your head. Then as the ear cups are also fabric, there's less pressure or suction on your ears like you get with leather cups. Now I know some of you will prefer leather or pleather ear cups over fabric, but having used both, there's no denying that fabric ones feel so much nicer in terms of comfort. The only compromise that I would note is you can hear more ambient or background noise in your room. So if there was a TV on in your room or somebody else was talking, you would be able to hear them. Adjustments are another thing worth mentioning, so it's a pretty simple setup. There's just a single option for sliding the band up or down on these metal runners. There's no clicky pieces or fabric straps to worry about. Just slide it up until it fits your head. But yeah, these are definitely one of the comfiest headsets I've ever used. As for the battery and charging on the A50 X, they come with inbuilt batteries that give us around 24 hours of use, which, let's face it, is more than enough for any session. And instead of having to worry about finding a cable to charge it, they sit neatly into the base station and charge up when you're not using them. Not only does this mean you know exactly where they are, but you'll also know they will be fully charged and ready to go. So across the bottom of the headset, they have these little metal contacts, and these match up with the base station. On top of that, they are actually magnetic, so you know they are locked in. They also feel really sturdy and they won't fall over or get knocked easily. And then once connected, you get the little LED on the headset which will turn orange. And then on the base station, it shows you the current battery status as well as how much it's charging. Now the chances are you'll always use the base station to charge it. But what if you forgot? Well, the good news is the USB-C port on the bottom can be used for connecting it to your PC or Mac, but it will also allow you to charge it. Now I wouldn't recommend this, but it means you can charge it while you're gaming if you were desperate for that charge. Okay, so the question that you'll no doubt want to ask is the A50 X worth buying? Are they worth £360 or $380? Now, I'll be honest, it's really hard for anyone to justify a gaming headset costing this much, but this just does everything so well. Plus, it does work on all platforms, and it's the only headset that allows you to switch between all consoles and PC so effortlessly. I always felt that the A50s were worth about £300, so the fact that these come with improved drivers, a better mic and HDMI 2.1 support, I think these are worth the extra. So yes, I think these are worth buying, and they will be replacing my SteelSeries Nova Pros which I've been using for the last year. I guess this means these are now my new favourite gaming headset as we go into 2024. Well, I hope this was useful and it answered any questions that you had, but if you've got any more, just let me know and I will try to get back to you. Now drop a nice gaming headset in the comments and I'll give you a thumbs up for staying right till the end. And if you did enjoy today's video, check out my best games video next, as it covers my personal top 12 games over the last 12 months. Thanks for watching, please like, sub and follow me everywhere. Until next time.